Timmy, today on the podcast, we've got Maricris Lapaix.
Which means peace in French.
It does mean peace in French. It seems to be a growing theme here. People who pick up and move to LA and do things they truly want to do. I think it's interesting with her brand. She is not diabetic or pre-diabetic, and she focuses on a lot of diabetic and pre-diabetic people for her training programs.
Yeah, and she was Miss Orange County.
She was Miss Orange County.
Yeah, we also talked about her being a jack of all trades, but master of none, and how she has a lot of interests and a lot of things going on, and how she ended up narrowing that down to focus on what her business is now.
We did. We also talked a lot about finding your market, creating materials for that market, and keeping people engaged in that market. It was another fun one, Timothy. We hope you enjoy. Miss Maricris Lapaix.
How do you say it?
It's so close.
French. It's not that hard.
Lapaix or
Yeah, it's not-
Lapaix. It
Lapaix.
means peace in French.
So everyone says
But
Lapaix.
But isn't
I say Lapaix.
Lapaix.
Lapaix?
Yeah.
But isn't Lapaix? What is that? Isn't that like a pencil in Spanish?
It definitely is peace
Yeah,
in
she
French.
just said it means
I know,
peace.
but I'm saying in Spanish. So
I
your
have
peace
not
pencil.
I have not looked that up. I will check.
Some-
No, je m'appelle is my name is.
I know that.
Yeah.
Are we doing this in French? I was not
No,
prepared.
Yeah.
for
I've
this.
got. I might be out then.
We're bilingual. I can say parlez-vous français.
And je m'appelle.
I do. You don't speak
And
any French.
I can say
Do you?
Je
lapel.
suis
Je suis.
Maricris
I can
Lapaix.
say lapel means peace too.
Maricris
Yes.
Lapaix.
I'm actually taking a course with Rosetta Stone to relearn
I saw that.
French.
I saw that. So
Yeah.
relearn it. So you knew French.
I did, and definitely lost all of it.
Where did you learn French? Taking to school or mom, dad? What?
I took it in school,
Okay.
starting in middle school, took it all the way into high school.
Hmm.
And because I wanted to connect with my dad, because he said he spoke French, but I didn't know. I've learned a lot about myself, but he spoke Creole. So he would always get mad at me saying I was pronouncing things wrong. But, you know, it was just a big confusion growing up. But
So
No.
Creole is not French.
it's like a different dialect.
Hmm.
Hopefully I don't screw that up. As far as I know.
Rosetta Stone.
I can, yeah. According to Rosetta Stone, it's different, I think.
So you're doing French, not Creole.
French, yeah.
Oh, on Rosetta Stone, you're doing French.
Oui.
Oui.
Yeah.
I took.
I knew we did.
Did you take French?
No, Spanish. Like I don't know.
I
It
took-
doesn't matter. I don't.
I took- I took
years.
French in 7th grade, and I know that what I just said. I know je m'appelle
Yeah.
and parlez-vous français, and that's it.
Yeah.
It sounds nice. It's
Right?
good. Yeah.
I think that is okay
Clean.
enough to where if you knew what I was saying.
Well, our mom
if you-
took it. Our mom.
That's probably
has
where
like
I
a
got
few
it.
phrases she goes.
That's
to.
it. Parlez-vous
Yeah.
français. Anywho,
Yeah.
great to talk some non-French, non-Spanish. Let's talk about you a little bit. And what do you
Okay.
talk about? What you do? I mean, we see it on Instagram, like 80 different things. It looks like I don't know. Talk to us.
It's actually a lot better, this 80 different things, because
Okay.
if you've known me for years, I'm that girl that does everything. They're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And there's definitely a point where I figured that I would find my passion by not like sitting around and thinking about it. I would just do everything and be like, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. And combine it all. And I remember there was one road trip that I was doing with my ex. I was going on his work retreat, and I was sitting in the car, and his boss was like, I heard you do everything. And he's like, you're a bartender, you're a model, you're a personal trainer, you're a wedding planner. And that was the first time in my life I'm like, God, that sounds awful. It
Yeah.
sounds like I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so I actually sat at that conference because I'm a nerd. I was like, I want to be in the business meeting. And I made my goals, and I decided to stop everything that I was doing. Wedding planning was picking up. But I was like, no, I want to do training. Because I've sat in job interviews and purposely like butchered it. I would sit there, I'm like, I can't sit behind this desk.
Yeah.
I get so bored.
Yeah.
So I
So
came
you
back.
you would get the meeting just to get the meeting and then
Just
blow it.
to entertain
Yeah.
myself, I guess. Well, because I got my master's degree, and I mean, I feel like you kind of go through school, you know the routine, you figured, oh, I have this degree from somewhere. It makes sense for me to get a good big corporate job per se. So it was a little scary for me to just kind of flip the script. Like initially, I went in as a kinesiology major,
Okay.
and then I decided to switch to nursing because my roommate's mom was a nurse. And I was like, oh, well, I'm half Filipino. So yeah, for sure, I'd be great at this.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, I don't have the dedication for this.
Yeah.
So I literally flipped through the catalog book and just chose a new major. I don't know why I didn't go back to athletic training,
Yeah.
but I picked communications because I'm a organizational freak. I saw you could be an actor apparently with that, and you can do wedding planning.
I feel like communication is one of those degrees where you just like, I'm going to go to school and finish.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then figure some shit out.
Basically, that's what happened. I was so stoked about it, but then it kind of just put me out in the open. I had no direction per se.
Yeah.
And so after that big old thing at that meeting where I decided I'm going to training, started really working on it. Once I had my first test of training someone, like a mock session, I was like, oh, this is it. I love it. I was hooked and kind of just went from there.
How long ago was this?
This year, it'll actually be 3 years that I've been training.
Oh, so not that long.
Officially, no.
So what'd you do after college, or was that after college?
I don't know what I did after college. I did everything.
Whatever. Find a way to make a few bucks.
Yeah, I was bartending. Yeah. I started my own wedding planning business.
So that was all that stuff before training.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then I did production for a little bit, and that actually kind of kickstarted how I started to go off on my own. So I worked on a production called Let's Ask America, and I was the executive assistant. And I was really in charge of taking care of the talent, who's Bill Bellamy, who's absolutely amazing. I'm obsessed with. He's such a good person, such a hard worker. Cool. And I would be so blown away just watching him work. And I was like, well, I'm good at this desk stuff behind. I'm really good with scheduling, but I like that. I want to be in front of the camera and find a way to combine fitness. So it led me to hosting classes. And when I was taking TV hosting classes, then I had another kind of block in my journey per se, because they said, come up with your brand. And that was the first time it came up with me where my mom said, well, you can be the jack of all trades but the master of none. Because I was like, well, what is my brand? I'm like, I like fitness. People see me that way, but I'm not certified. So I don't feel qualified.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Thanks. Yeah. You have no purpose. No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm just saying, like, the certification. Yeah. Like, anybody can do that shit.
Yeah. So I just felt like, okay, well, I'm not qualified just yet. And I model, but I'm not a big model. You know, I've had a couple good stints, and I have my master's degree, but I'm not like these doctors in my class who can have a specific show, like Dr. Oz or something.
Sure.
And I literally was like, okay, stop feeling bad about yourself. What can you do to bring this chaos of everything that you've tried together? What makes sense? And I was like, clearly, I like to test the waters of different things. And I like to do that within the fitness world. And so I kind of thought of myself as like a Groupon person in the sense that I like to try everything. So I came up with my first brand, which was Fitness Affair. And it was meant to be like having an affair of trying different exercises. You're not stuck in one world. Just CrossFit or just yoga. And the point is to have the affair and try different things until you find something you fall so in love with. It's like become a part of your life. You're just so addicted to it. Yeah. And from that, I just continued to study. And then I finally got my certification and reached out to who I knew and got my first job, and really haven't looked back ever since. So just evolving.
That's cool. So when you first did it though, you got your first client, were you training at a gym, or were you just
I was
freestyling somebody's basement?
Just
we don't have basements out here.
No one has basements.
Freestyling somebody's beachfront house or whatever.
I actually was really fortunate that from all the million things I did, I've done pageants as well. And one of the judges was a trainer. So I reached out to him, and super fortunate that my first job was actually working at the Disney lot in Burbank, working in the studios. So
that doesn't suck, huh?
No basement, gorgeous gym, pretty good pay for a trainer starting out. So that was it.
And you had to be certified to get that gig?
Okay. Yeah. I just didn't want to train not being certified, as I was kind of studying and going through. I mean, people have so many different chronic diseases, and even now as I'm getting more clients and seeing all the different things out there, it's not me to just be like, I'm going to kick your ass. Like, that's not my point. Like, I'm very like safety oriented. I need you functional. I'll start you off at what might seem boring, but half the time my clients are like, oh, when you do it, it looks so easy. But when I do it, it's harder. And I love deceptive workouts. So I just have a very different training style, but I love to get my butt kicked, but it's very different with each client.
Sure. I mean, I think it has to be. And we come from athletic backgrounds too. So we're used to like hard ass shit. And even now for me, I feel like I've talked about this every podcast is I just started doing yoga a little bit.
I just started to.
Really?
I hated yoga.
Me too.
And then I was like, I just can't sit still. What is this? I want to do hip hop abs. Like, this
Sure.
is so slow, but
I don't think I've done
Brazilian butt.
Zumba. Yeah, but I think as you get older, I mean, my body feels older. Obviously, I'm young, but
right.
overtraining and all that, I was like, my body needs recovery, so I crave that a lot more, and that has influenced my style as well.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I did it a bunch. My back doesn't hurt anymore like it did for 15 years. Like, not that it'd be chronic pain where I can't move, but just like annoying all the time. And now it's cool. I mean, sometimes it hurts, but not like consistently like it did.
Oh, I'm about it. Yoga is definitely a check-in for me. Like, the chair pose gets me every time. I just feel like I'm angled in all different areas. It's like, okay, I get it. I need to.
I don't think I'm doing it right.
What type of yoga are you doing?
I don't even know what type of yoga I'm doing. I just started doing it.
Standard.
Kundalini.
Is that vinyasa flow? Is that what I keep hearing?
Well, there's like the bar yoga, sweat yoga, hot
It's
yoga.
not
like,
bar. I did try hot yoga once.
Not feeling it.
That's what I'm doing.
It was hot as balls.
Yeah.
It was fine. It was definitely a good mental game. It's interesting.
I feel like it is like the first like 15 minutes you're battling mentally. You're like, fuck, it's hot.
Yeah.
Like, everyone else is fine. Why the fuck? Why is everyone else taking their shirt off? Like, what's so?
I was
hot
just
here? Yeah.
amused by all like the puddles of sweat on the mats next to me. But
Yeah.
great workout. Totally get it. Haven't tried bar yet, but I'm just good with whatever beginner or vinyasa flow that I've been
Yeah.
getting into.
I do. It's hot yoga that I do, and it's beginner shit for the most part. I took a top-ass class the other day, but it's still like I love it because 10 minutes in I'm sweating my ass off, and then you sweat for 45.
Yeah.
I think I just adjust more to the smell than anything.
The smell.
When I walk in, it's a little muggy, but it's totally fine once you're in the
This
zone.
place ain't bad.
Really? Well, it's brand new too.
It's like
Yeah.
6 weeks old.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's not a lot of
And it's
sweat
like-
enveloped in there yet.
No, but it's also like a nice place. It's not cheap. Like,
Yeah,
they take
no.
care of it.
This
It's
is a
not
nice
like-
area. This is
Yeah,
a nice area.
it's not somebody's garage they're throwing people
Or their
into.
basement.
Or
Yeah, the
basement. I forget people don't have basements here.
Basement.
No, it's
yoga.
sad that people don't have basements.
How-
Basements are like where everything is growing.
Yeah, how do you guys hide and do stuff you're not supposed to do when parents are around?
There's no
in the
woods either.
closet.
In the
I don't know.
closet?
Closets? What kind of closets you guys got around here?
Right? I
In the
definitely
closet.
used to just hide in the closet. I thought it was
You
fun.
would
From like my
hide?
uncles but I would throw a big blanket under me, and I thought it was the most hilarious thing that no one knew where it was. I would just
And
bundle up.
you're in the closet.
Yeah. And then I would just start giggling, and it just completely
Right.
defeats the purpose.
That's
I
what
think I'm so
Yeah.
slick.
his daughter
My
loves a
3-year-old does that now.
good game of
I'm
hide and
so
seek.
glad I just got compared to. I mean, this is something I did like 2
Right,
years
yeah.
ago.
Yeah, right?
No, she rides
Late
that.
20s.
Yeah.
Late 20s, no
Yeah.
big deal. Kid at heart, it's okay.
So you start training. This is 3 years ago. And now I know you do the online stuff. You still do like face-to-face clients?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What, so you have the online workout program with what's the company you work with?
So my brand that I've transitioned to is called Type to Be Fit.
Yeah.
And so that's what I do it through. Originally, I was looking to have 2 brands, and I was like, this is just getting confusing.
2 brands for what? Like what? For
Just for myself and how I wanted to brand my training business. And as I just started to really develop my training style and figured out what kind of clientele I mean, I like to work with everybody, but more specifically, when I think about impact, Type to Be Fit came off of one of my very first clients who had type 2 diabetes and just cold shoulder, everything, sedentary mom, hadn't worked out in years. And to see the transition she made in a year to drop her A1C levels to 6 and to go from a ton of pills to half a pill, it's like, oh, this is dope.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, but I can help someone just by lifestyle and progressively do it. This is what I want. I want to work with people who want to gradually get into it. Obviously, everybody has different goals. Like, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds in a month or whatever it may be. But I just find that the dedication and the true change and impact happens with those who understand that it's a process to really create those habits.
Yeah.
And it was actually my ex-boyfriend's mom, and I thought it was just so funny from when I started with her, just thinking about like breakfast potatoes, different pancakes, and all this stuff. And when it really just became ingrained in the family, I started training like all of them shortly, one by one. And then like 2 years later, I'm like, are we really having egg whites for breakfast and turkey bacon? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, but I'm like craving some stuff. But it was dope to see the impact that I can have and how certain things can become natural
Yeah.
to people to be able to maintain that.
How were you able to do that online then?
For online, it's really become just a streamlined process of understanding trial and error of what's worked for my clients. I've become like so disciplined where I'm like, okay, let me check your macros, like log them in and let me see. And then I've also tried laying off, and then I've tried only giving recipes, and then I've tried assigning specific things. And it really seems that people want it as direct as possible and as easy as possible. And so, you know, working with Herbalife as well, helping with that nutrition program has been helpful, because it's just, you hear all the excuses. I'm too busy, or I don't know what to cook, or I'm bored with this or that. And you literally make it as easy as possible for people. And I just do all the work on the back end to just like, all I need you to do is pick your food. I don't need you to count your macros or do this and that. Like, I have it kind of preset, and because I'm looking to work with a specific audience, they typically have a lot of the same stuff. So it makes it easier to coach, and I really learn habits so I can continue to fine tune it as I go along.
What's the audience? Like, who's your market?
So diabetics obviously is who I like to work with, but also like pre-diabetics are people who are really just don't want to get into that category.
So like usually it's not someone who needs to lose a couple pounds. Usually somebody who has like some serious or close to serious issues.
Yeah. It's really looking for a lifestyle change. Don't know where to start. Looking for, you know, from what they've told me from feedback, my workouts are challenging, but I really do my best to mentally coach them as well, because it's all mindset as well.
Sure.
So it blows my mind sometimes when I'll do a check-in and they're like, I'm like, oh, how'd you do? They're like, oh, I didn't do so great. And I'm like, okay, well, what happened? They're like, well, my food was really on point, but I only worked out once. But I'm like, okay, but last week, did you not meal prep and you didn't even work out? Like, you understand that was a big feat. So
yeah,
as we go through these check-ins, and then they tell me they end up losing like 10 pounds. I'm like, this just doesn't make sense. Like, how are you not acknowledging yourself for this?
Yeah.
So it's really a lot of mental coaching and getting them to trust me, because there's so many different fad diets, but there's so many diets that work. I believe truly that every diet works. It depends on your goal. But I'm really looking for just like long-term, like establish some eating habits. I'm not looking to deplete you like crazy.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind when I tell people to eat and they're like, oh, that seems like a lot. But I'm like, but it's within your calorie goal. It just seems like a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's broken up. But yet, you know, maybe 2 weeks later they'll go and have a cheat meal. I'm like, but you do understand that was like worse than that. But it's like an oxymoron. I feel like if I told someone, you know, don't eat for 3 days and you're going to lose 30 pounds, everybody would jump on it. Definitely. I feel like there's so many people on these quick fixes that it's more mental coaching that I'm doing. Like, you can eat, you can eat and learn. And there's just a learning curve of learning what to eat that's right for you. That way down the line, when you do have a birthday to go to, you're not like, I don't know if I can eat this. You can enjoy yourself.
Sure.
It's really just a learning process.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you work with these clients online, are you contacting them? How are you getting new clients? How does that work? Is it all just word of mouth, or people see your stuff on Instagram, whatever? Yeah.
So as I've been growing it, first I reach out to friends and family who know me and trust me, because online, I mean, there's a bunch of scams, but there's scams. There's people you don't know. Yeah. There's so many different ways. And so really what I've just noticed when even I started my in-person business, it started with friends and family. They get results, they refer out. So I've had referrals. And then as I've become more specific with how I'm marketing myself online, it means so much to me that people who are diabetic are reaching out. So they see that, I mean, it becomes specific hashtags. It becomes what I'm posting. And when I'm working with clients, luckily I've had quite a range of people. And when I see certain clients drawn in and I see kind of who I've posted for a result, people identify themselves with someone else. Sure. So that helps draw in specific people for me. Like, I'm totally open to working with everybody, but I'm really looking for specific. I just enjoy like big transformations and yeah.
What does your check-ins look like?
So check-ins for me usually happen about every 2 weeks, just depending on what's going on in someone's life. I like to do 2 weeks because the first week I feel like I'm really coaching you through. I like for you to send me your food every day. So sometimes I'm like, hey, maybe that lunch is great, but let's actually do it for dinner, or like vice versa.
Yeah.
So first week is kind of switching and mixing. And by the end of the second week, given a good amount of effort, usually there's some sort of result or some sort of progress. If there isn't progress or anything, I feel like it's a good check-in point where someone doesn't go a whole month and be like, oh my God, I completely blew it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just constant coaching, because it blows my mind despite how professional I think I'm being, or how well I relay the message from the moment someone inquires for me about my program. And I'll make videos online like, hey, don't worry about working out. Even if you only get, you know, your food right, that's progress. Or if you only work out, that's progress. And then they'll still do the opposite. Or they're like, oh, I didn't want to start my program because I couldn't work out. But I'm like, the whole point is just to start, because life is not perfect. You're going to have weeks when you're traveling, when you're doing this or that. But the whole point is just a little bit every day. And that way, if you are traveling, I can coach you while you're traveling. Like, I was so stoked that one of my recent clients messaged me his food every day. And then it was Friday. He's like, I have a date today. How should I eat? And that's like the commitment I want. Like, I'm not lying to my clients. I'm like, please blow up my phone.
Sure.
And send me all your info so I can help you. So 2 weeks is a typical check-in for me. And as I see that you start to catch a rhythm, then we have different checkpoints, or I set different goals for you.
Sure. How many people are you working with? You working with a ton or just a few?
Right now I have, sounds bad. I have like a running list right now, but online, I think it's over 20 or so, maybe. Okay. I'm not sure.
So are you planning to grow that? Do you like that number? Or?
I do love that number, but I think what's going to be important for my growth is also having other coaches under me that can help me, because it becomes a lot. Yeah. And because I've been able to fine tune it, and because I'm finding certain clientele, and as they start to become the same group, I love to be able to empower someone and be like, I can be there to support you, but you're just like them. Like, you can give them support because you went through it. And I'm very thankful that I've been athletic and all this, but sometimes I feel like there's that lack of connection because I haven't per se gone through that exact transformation. Mm-hmm. Mine's a little bit different. So I love for people to be able to relate to each other, but absolutely, like, I'm looking to continue to grow it, because as people become more self-sufficient, like, I want to continue to coach you as much as possible, but I also want you to feel like you can go off on your own. Sure. And that's why I coach training, but I make more of an emphasis on nutrition, because that's going to get you results at the end of the day, whether you're losing weight, gaining muscle, or whatever.
I feel like a lot more people are confused about nutrition too.
Oh yeah, it's so confusing, and that's something I'm still learning.
I ate healthy. I had a sandwich for lunch. I had a little bit of chips,
my Lord.
An apple.
Right.
And it's like, that's what people think is healthy. A lot of people, which is crazy.
But that's why they say, and that's why I say every diet works. I mean, what is that one book where it's like, eat this, not that? Obviously, if you've been eating a 4x4 from In-N-Out, and then you switch to a protein style, you're going to lose weight, because that's what your habits are, and it becomes more difficult, and you have to be a lot stricter as you get really close to certain goals. Like, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And for me, I think I always knew nutrition was important, but when I really saw transformation within myself for Miss California, it was such a humbling experience, because I really just was working on my nutrition because it was going to be that time of my month when I was competing, and I didn't want to be bloated, like, to be 100%. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to know I looked my best. So I literally cleaned up my diet, but my metabolism revved up so much. I went from 120 before I competed at Miss Orange County, then pageant weekend, not trying to be unhealthy, but just, I don't want food in my teeth, or just adrenaline. I wasn't eating as much, and I was 115 by the end. And then because I won, I just kind of maintained a healthy lifestyle. But within...
you won?
Yeah, I won Miss Orange County. Yeah, it was dope. I was so excited. And then worked on my nutrition for about 2 months. And 1 month out, I was like, there's just absolutely no cheating happening here. And really watched my macros. And I went from 115 to 107. Don't remember the last time I've ever been 107.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'5". Yeah, it was insane. And that was me not working out, because I'm naturally more cut, and they wanted me to look softer. for the competition. So I really honestly wasn't working out very light. It was all nutrition.
Yeah.
So when people message me online and they're like, what do I do for abs? I'm like, it's truly what you eat. Like I was not working out like crazy. Like, and that's why I emphasize 80% nutrition, because you can still make progress that way.
Yeah.
So,
well, especially when you're talking diabetes, pre-diabetic, that kind of stuff, that's all, I mean, you can change all that.
Exactly.
Easily. Not easily, but like over time.
Yeah.
That's how you do it, is with
over
diet.
time. And because I am working online, I had a lot of hesitancy when I was starting out, because I'm like, but I can't watch their form. Are their knees in line with their second and third toe? Like, what do they look like? And being like aware of the type of clientele that I'm working with, I wanted to be able to build a program that felt safe enough for me, where it felt comfortable. Because at least if you're working on your nutrition, maybe take a couple pounds off, start to maybe work on cardio, work on that endurance. And then we work on body weight, learn how to work at home, because sometimes I'm working with clients who just don't feel comfortable going to the gym. So I specifically make home workouts so you can build that confidence and strength at home. And then, I start to intensify and eventually get you into the gym, or just buy your own dumbbells at home.
Yeah.
So literally, like, everything's built around the mental game.
Sure.
As well, and feeling comfortable with yourself.
Have you ever reached out to diabetes groups? I know they have.
Yeah, I started that, but more so, I've just been really fortunate that people have been coming to me first. So just really working on them. And right now I'm reading, I think it's Genius Foods.
Yeah.
I can't even say his last name, but Max something. And there's just so much to learn out there. So I'm really, again, fine tuning my recipes, because I just want people, rather than having a list of you can't eat this, you can't eat that, all of a sudden you want it. I rather just have a recipe list that looks really good, and you're like, oh, I get to eat that, and they don't even realize what they're not having. They just enjoy it,
because once they see Oreos, they're gonna think Oreos.
Exactly. I've done that myself.
Totally thinking about Oreos right now.
I'm not gonna go to the liquor store after this.
I don't eat Oreos like ever. Maybe a couple of years, but I'm thinking about Oreos.
How many times are you gonna say that? Because I think you're
Oreos.
I think 2 more times we're gonna have to cut this podcast short.
They don't have them at Whole Foods. We'll have to go to Target.
They have to have some like vegan ones.
I'm sure they have something similar. It's still sugar heavy and all that.
Yeah.
Low key though, I'm starting to salivate. Let's stop. I'm working with clients, guys. You're really ruining this right now.
So when you, so as far as like the program stuff on a daily basis, what's a typical day look like? Because you train, how many people do you train in person?
So it's been very different since coming to LA.
From where?
I always make it sound like I'm from far away, guys.
East
I
LA,
make
right?
it sound like I'm from New York. I came from like Long Beach.
Yeah.
Which
I thought was LA when I first moved out here, though. So,
but it is a long way.
It's way too.
It's
far.
a long way when you live in LA and people don't want to travel more than 4 miles.
Right.
Hell no.
So my statement is valid. I came from a long way,
sure.
and I'm here.
It's true.
I'm here now in LA, but in Long Beach, it's a very different crowd. I feel like it's very corporate. I can stack clients back to back, and now,
really?
Yeah, and which I can now that I'm working at a club, because I'm planning on moving to the West Side, and just different areas, different clientele. It takes time to build up, but I've had a lot of in-home clients. So days for me, I had to learn how to reorganize my schedule, because I was just feeling wonky. I'd be in Venice, then I would be in Hollywood, then I would be in Burbank, and then I'd be in Long Beach. It's just not
That's brutal.
effective, and I'm completely burning myself out. So I had to, after burning myself out for 2 months in June and July, I went back and I was like, I'm just going to train everybody in one day. So that way mentally, all I know is I'm training.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot to drive around and then come home and be like, I need to work on my online clients. It was just, it would give me anxiety of not being able to spread my energy and attention the right way. So I don't really have a set schedule right now, but I'm really just working on having clients in the morning that I see face to face. And then middle of the day, I check in with clients. I just have a big running calendar of like to keep myself on track.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. And I mean, sometimes I have auditions, sometimes I'm doing fun things like this, but I try if I can to keep everything Monday through Thursday, kind of like my work week. And
keep the weekends free.
Yeah, they're not free. It's just more so like me playing around. But
for Arizona trips,
like 24-hour Arizona trips. Yeah. it's just a lot of, and LA is so great. I love it because there's always events going on every weekend, and super stoked that it's going to be my 1 year living here, but in 2 months, my business partner and I, Blaine, are doing 2 different festivals. We're going to do a Lumen Hero event in downtown LA, and then one of the amazing people we met is doing like a Fit Fest. It's going to be like a Coachella for fitness, and we're going to be teaching that out here in Santa Monica.
That's cool.
Where's that going to be at in Santa Monica?
It should be Santa Monica. I don't want to say the location. I think we're still confirming.
Oh, okay.
But
Santa Monica.
it's going to Santa Monica.
It's like Coachella. It's got there's only a handful of spots you could potentially be.
We'll leave it to mystery.
Yeah.
well, we did an event similar to that on the Santa Monica Pier.
Oh, on the pier.
The parking lot.
Next to it.
Parking lot. Yeah, we
Yeah.
rented
the
like
pier.
half the parking lot.
Where we had
4 years ago.
22 different gyms, trainers.
Holy moly.
I think it was like 22 trainers, 30 and 30 sponsors booths.
Yeah.
Company sponsored booths.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, we at the time we had a fitness app, and that's what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of transitioned out of that. But I thought it was a cool event. We had a decent amount of people. We had, I think it was like 400 or something we counted.
Oh, I have no idea.
Come
There
I was like, that's pretty good for a first event.
There
I
were
would
people in and out
think
though,
okay.
because it was right on the beach. So like,
Yeah.
I'm sure
there could have
400
been
maybe
more.
registered, and other people just kind of walking around getting free samples.
Well,
It's
I definitely would be one of those people.
Well, me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was on the beach, I would just pick up one of those things and walk away. Yeah.
But we probably should have done a better job of letting people know it was free. Like, come in, it's free.
Oh, yeah.
Don't, we didn't have signs or anything. It was just, here's an event going on. So people probably walked by that we could have got in had they known it's free and find
that they're welcome. Yeah.
And I think if we knew LA better, we probably wouldn't have wanted to do it there, because it's also, while there's a lot of foot traffic, that space is very touristy. Like, how often are you at the pier?
Definitely.
Never.
Well, I was there last week.
Okay, who was somebody in
I'm just
town?
kidding.
Oh, like we go when mom's in town, or dad, or a friend, or like
we actually walk on the pier. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go to like a right around the pier.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a zoo on the pier.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. Like, you walk down and it's people speaking 10 different languages you hear, because it's
That's
people
true.
from all around the world coming.
Well, yeah, I guess it just depends on the goal, but I mean, it's definitely always trial and error. And like, I don't know how this is gonna work.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
So what are you guys doing with the event? Like, are you guys
we are teaching.
okay?
So we're doing classes.
So that's, I mean, that's what you do.
Yeah.
It's not like you're helping. You're not doing the event or putting it on.
No, I'm
Good.
so excited to just be teaching in the
Yeah.
event. I'm super stoked, and I've done boot camps in Long Beach, when I was training independently there. And then when I came to LA to get familiar with the area and get to know people, I started teaching at Lit Method. And that's really where I feel like I got my, I guess, true feel of teaching group classes. So to have both, one-on-one, and then understand all the hype and the pump up, and then
It's different.
to be able to do with a business partner and to create what we want, I'm super excited about.
That's cool.
Yeah.
When is that?
So Lumen Hero should be the first weekend of November. We're still finalizing what day. And it's usually on the rooftop of the Marriott, and
cool.
just drones flying and super dope.
What is it? What is the event?
So, I mean, it's basically to inspire like the hero within you.
Okay.
That's what Lumen Hero is. And Rockley puts on that event every month.
What's Rockley?
Rockley's a person.
Okay. a friend of yours.
Rockley's dope.
Totally thought you said broccoli.
Yeah.
So
Broccoli
broccoli.
puts us on.
Broccoli sounds good.
Let me work on speaking much more clearly here.
Broccoli.
But it's different every month. So Shannon just did.
Shannon Rockley.
Shannon Rockley, you're just giving new names
Nice.
out.
Yeah.
She just did it, and sometimes they finish with yoga, and they have different sponsors. RX Bar was at this last event.
Yeah.
I just steal all the butters that they bring.
Yeah.
They raffled off a Fitbit. And then, because it's LA, they have pool parties after, mix and mingle. And, one of the things I love about LA is that it's such a big community for fitness, but you start to see the same people over and over. And it's so cool that you actually find people who like working out. And just people on endorphins and high. And it's just so excited.
Well, we keep talking. Everyone we talk to we always keep hyping about how great LA is, which we don't need anybody else coming here. Plenty of people here, but it is a place where you can find, like, that's why we moved here. Was LA we were in at the time, we had the fitness app, and it's fitness and tech, and I don't know if there'd be a better place in the world to be for fitness and tech. Of course, there's different places for tech, But so that's why we came here, and we don't do enough of events and going out and that kind of stuff at
Definitely
all.
not.
You gotta get it.
not.
I'm just on a high when I go to these
Yeah.
events.
I always
it's
love
just,
them.
Yeah, it's always great. I go with a 3-year-old who just turned 3, so she was
Yeah.
1 and 2, and it's a lot harder to go
Oh, I'm
out
sure,
to
yeah.
different events.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for sure it is.
Yeah.
But I should do a better job. I don't have a 3-year-old or an 8-year-old, but I always have fun doing it. There's always like the what was the event? The Propel event. You were there, right?
Yes,
Yeah, you were
I
there.
was. That was
Like
the
that was
best
great.
weekend.
That was cool. Just all day workouts, and then did you go to the speakers the Friday, whatever that was? Yeah.
I did. No, not Friday. I actually went Cinco de Mayo on the next day. Was it Friday
I
or
don't know.
Saturday, Sunday? I don't know.
Yeah.
I did Harley's talk.
Oh yeah.
And that was so. I mean, because
Harley, who's like a big time trainer.
yes,
I don't
and
know
that
who
was
that's
just the best. So I, when I was living in Long Beach, far, far away, I started watching Revenge Body with Khloe Kardashian.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched the Kardashians, but I was more so, I just want to see what these trainers are doing. Is there just something so different that I'm not doing? So huge fan of the show. So to go there that weekend.
Is there something different?
No.
No, not at
It's
all.
food and style
Yeah. That's all
and
it is.
personality.
Yeah. Well, go
All
ahead.
really great stuff. I'm not downplaying it.
No.
Well, the
Yeah, it's all good
personality is
stuff.
the big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so it's nice as a trainer, you know, because I still feel very fairly new, but I'm always like, I need to keep learning to kind of see like, oh no, I do that.
Yeah.
I do that.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's
Yeah.
just how do you make it more specific and how do you get better results and faster and keep people motivated. But Propel was dope because I was like, Harley's here. Oh my God, Simone is here. And I was just like taking pictures with everybody. And because I'm like a fangirl of Harley and hearing him talk and learning, you know, more things from his end. And then I was working out in the front row and he pulled me on stage to be one of the models. I was like, this is awesome.
I did his workout the
he's dope.
first day. I didn't do. If he spoke, I didn't. See
Oh,
that.
so you did the lunges around the block?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
ooh.
that was fun. But like, I didn't know anything except for what I'd seen on TV. And he seemed like kind of a hard ass, maybe an asshole. But he was really nice and
He's
funny
super
and
dope.
cool. Like you see a personality, and I'm sure that comes across. I'm sure on the show too. But
Yeah.
you also see that hard ass and the
Oh yeah, one of the other trainers, Corey Kaye.
Mr. Kaye.
yeah.
He-
We know Corey.
Yeah.
So we were shooting. We were
He's
doing
dope.
a feature on Corey
We're
when he was shooting.
a couple times.
Yeah, but we were doing a feature at the time when he was shooting the show.
Totally
The-
forgot
when
about
it first
that.
came
Wow.
out. They're in second
Yeah.
or third season or something. Did you go to that? You were there that night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were actually behind the scenes while he was taping the show.
Yeah,
That's
he was like,
so
come to it, and then he's like,
Yeah.
but you can't share any like the footage showing.
He's the
Yeah.
nicest person.
Oh, he's
awesome.
Like,
Great.
it blows my mind. I mean, because when I came all the way back out here, I mean, I have my mentors, but I also hit him up on Instagram and was like, what do you do? Like pricing, how do you feel like when I got my first celeb client? I was like, how do you kind of work with that? I don't want to get taken advantage of and this and that.
Yeah.
And just always so great and so open to it. And I did his field day and it was so dope. He invited everybody to come, you know, party after. And he's just the most
the thing
humble.
at Nike or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they think they went out that night and
Okay.
just the most humble guy, just great energy. And that's what I love is that I have not met one bad fitness person out here
Yeah.
with like ego or anything. Just like Simone, who's also on the show, great success. And just to hear her say like, wish you success, you know, as a baby trainer, how I feel compared to these veterans to hear
Some
that
OGs.
they're all just supporting
Yeah.
you and that there's room for everybody is really encouraging. And I mean, you know, to even be invited here from you guys, just kind of see that I love that I keep meeting really great people. And then these great people introduce me to other people. And obviously because they're great. And it's just this weird trickle effect of, I've only known these people. People think I'm like, how I've known people for years. I was like, no, I just met them last week, but they're so dope.
Yeah.
And it's just great fitness energy. And even working as a fitness model, I've worked with some models who also do like runway or whatever. But when they come on set, they're like, everyone's just so nice here. And you think about it, like a lot of us are just athletes and joking around and looking to have fun. We love what we do. So I feel really blessed to be here.
It's different to be in fitness than a lot of other spaces in LA. And we're not really in fitness. We've done a lot of fitness stuff and been. And I like fitness. He likes fitness.
Yeah,
we're in-ish the space, but not in it.
Did you say inish?
I did. I just made up a word.
That's a new word.
In-ish.
I'm gonna
In
take
dash
that.
ish.
Yeah.
Take it. But we see enough to where like there's a couple people where we maybe get annoyed with, but generally speaking, people are nice and cool and down. We did this thing with USA Today year and a half ago. I guess we finished. Year ago. Doesn't matter either way. But we worked with 65 different people in fitness, and we did 30-second how-tos and 3 to 7 minute long-form videos, like their stories.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have a problem. No, most of the people we didn't know either. It was just Instagram reach outs like, hey, we want to do a feature on you, working with USA Today. Yep. Some people we knew, but everyone was cool. We had one problem with one dude, but he was more just being an asshole to his wife.
Oh,
but not
down for the cause.
No.
Yeah.
It was just stupid, and he was just riding her like.
Yeah.
I also saw them on the hike this weekend. I went on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Ooh,
hopefully they're not listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. But LA is cool for that. LA is definitely cool for that. What is, as far as business wise, what do you think's been the toughest thing for you?
It's always the build up of actually having business. Because like I mentioned, throughout all the different jobs that I've tried, obviously it's nice to know a paycheck's coming. Obviously bartending, it's nice to know you're coming home with money.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I was in Long Beach building, I was just getting so frustrated. I was like, I remember I called my ex at the time. I was so mad I had to come in for like a 10 o'clock shift because that bar is fortunate, usually closed at 10, but I had to come in and I called him. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm not meant to be here. This sucks.
Yeah. I
feel like I'm wasting my energy. I don't have any humor anymore for just weird bar conversation. It's different when you're in college. Like, you kind of just, this is the phase I'm in. This is what I'm doing to get me through. And I was like, I am going independent in the next couple of months. I'm just building up business. I'm going to work on my online business or whatever it is. I'm doing whatever to build up. And I don't know if, I manifest stuff. So
like being on this podcast.
Like being on this podcast.
Yeah.
And I think it was probably a month later. I don't know how I got 5 clients in 1 month. And I just put my 2 weeks in. It was the scariest thing.
Yeah.
But I was so excited. I was like, this is all me. Like, I have to do this business. And so after that unexpected breakup of building up that whole business for a year, it was terrifying to come to LA because I was like, I have nothing here. I just literally built up this steady business. And after a lot of tears and talks and being scared and breaking out into hives, I was like, okay, I'm coming to LA. I've always wanted to do it. What is the point of being in Long Beach and possibly getting stuck out there if I want to be in LA? I can always drive back and forth to Long Beach as I phase out, but I'm going to LA. And so coming here, that's why I went out for LIT method, because I was like, okay, I was talking to
What is LIT?
LIT method stands for low impact training.
Okay.
So I teach group classes there. And
I just thought it was Pilates-ish.
No.
Not at all. Huh?
Oh yeah. You guys should definitely come in.
Duff. Oh man.
Guys always die in there. I think it's
sure.
so funny because the ladies are killing it and y'all can't handle some bands.
No.
that's like me in yoga.
Yeah.
And there's like some overweight lady in the back who's 65 and she's killing it.
But she's killing it, right?
Yeah.
See, it's just, that's what I'm saying. It's just different types of workouts. Like you would think that I'd be maybe good at yoga or something, and I'm not very good.
It's different. Yeah.
And I'm a horrible swimmer. So yeah, there's a lot with
Fun
that.
fact of the day.
But yeah, building business is definitely the hardest. And as you move in areas and growing pains of realizing that even though you're trying to take all income, trying to build up, it works against you. At some point, you're like, okay, I'm just wasting energy. How can I be more efficient? So I finally, after having my year of business in Long Beach, I'm like, okay, I can do this clearly. And the most success is being in one spot. So that's why I've made this decision to move to the West Side, really focus here, because how else are you going to find me if I'm all over the place? Yeah. And so that way I can spend more time building online.
And you're in East LA now?
Yeah.
So what
East Hollywood or
whatever.
Apparently that's
Somewhere
not a
East
thing,
LA?
but people told me East Hollywood is a
East
thing.
Hollywood. No,
See, if
East Hollywood.
You know
People
what,
said
though?
East Hollywood. East LA is like.
No, in East LA is
East LA is a different
east
story.
of the city.
Yeah,
downtown.
well, she said East LA, didn't you?
East Hollywood.
I think when we were DMing.
East Hollywood is still west of LA.
I will
west
look
downtown
up
LA.
the damn.
Like, I'm off the 101 in Santa Monica, y'all. That's where I'm
I will look at the damn DM. That's why East LA. I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
No.
East Hollywood makes sense, even if it's not a thing.
Hey, I didn't know East Hollywood is a thing. Someone told me that.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm lying because it says Los Angeles, California, and my zip code.
Right.
But apparently Hollywood just sounds cooler to me.
Does it?
I think so.
I think what's funny about Hollywood, like you think of Hollywood, you know, you're from this area-ish. When we're come from the Midwest and you think of Hollywood, you're like, oh, there's glitz and glam, and it's really a shithole.
Oh, yeah.
It's like gross,
It's
the
good
stars.
It's
and
good
stuff.
walls to take photos on that make it
Yeah,
look good.
Sure.
It's
There's
horrible.
It smells.
And they have a
There's
cool
crazy people
mountain
everywhere.
with
Well,
a sign on it.
the sign is cool,
but you
if
can't see everything else down below it.
No, but I'm talking the strip. Like when
Yeah.
you walk that Hollywood strip, it's just gross.
No, you're literally just looking for good places to take a
Yeah.
photo and to say,
Yeah.
like, to be able to
Jump in
type
one
it.
of those tourist buses.
It's
Yeah.
all imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did my first Hollywood tour, I think like 3 years ago with my best friend because I felt so weird coming into town for auditions and I would meet people from out of town. Like you guys who moved here and they know like all the best clubs or all the places to eat and they'd be like, where do I go? I was like, I have no idea because I guess I felt like I always had access here, so I didn't really learn about it. So the fun I'm having right now is every time I'm driving around and I have a break, where do I want to go? It's like coffee shop. I Yelp like a maniac now to find.
I've got
different
his
places.
lady's big in Yelp.
Yeah.
I've probably the last 3 months I'm all over Yelp. Wherever when we were doing the shoot out in Vegas, we were flying in once a week, and I'm Yelping coffee shops and then I'm Uber Eatsing it to the place we're at. And I'm deep in the Yelp game now.
Oh, Yelp is
great.
for real, and
It's
Yelp
great.
is also has been good for my business as well. So
sure.
yeah, definitely
Yeah.
finding a spot on Yelp too. So.
I
Good
used
for
to
everything.
train too, and I had a Yelp page 5 years ago, and I still get calls from Yelp.
See, isn't it best? It's just sitting there. You never know.
I'm good. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Let me go. Stop calling me. As of 6 months ago, I still got calls.
Oh snap!
We're also
Well, you
in
never
talks
know.
with doing some stuff with Yelp. Timmy probably doesn't like to talk about it. He
Mm-hmm.
never likes to talk about anything.
Oh,
But in some
I'm
talks.
DL
That's the
until it
word.
happens.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Yeah. He always wants to talk about
Yeah.
spill the beans
I'll
on what's
say
exactly
everything.
going down.
What do you want to know?
Because a lot of things, like, sometimes they fall through. A lot of times things fall
Yeah.
through, and then, like, I want to say something, and then it doesn't happen.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's, once it happens, everyone can find out about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes even it's only happened really once where I'm like booked on a shoot and then all of a sudden they canceled it. Just like, oh,
And you were all
but I
pumped
already
about
told
it.
everybody.
Right,
I'm so excited.
right. And then everyone you just
You're
told
like,
is going to be like, oh, how did that go? And you're like,
should
oh, and then you
go.
get to tell
See what
everybody.
had happened was.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really try to not jinx myself.
Thank
I don't-
you.
I
but I've been
either.
manifesting stuff, so I'm on a.
Well, see, there you
Yeah.
go.
Kick.
Like I'll do this thing. This is a stupid little thing. I probably never told you this, but when we're in talks with a company, I have in my Gmail, I have folders of like if we're working with like we just worked with AirAsia, so I have an AirAsia folder to keep all the emails in there. But if we're close to closing a deal or something, I just put them in there. I put that company in there, and it's like I just feel like that.
That's
Gets us the deal.
Really?
Yeah, you don't know.
I
that.
was-
Did you know he was getting your deals?
No,
Yeah.
I was
You
completely opposite of that. Not recently. I've kind of let that go, but like,
Yeah.
or even same type of thing where if I created a folder for them,
Yeah.
I felt like that was jinxing myself, we weren't getting stuff. And then same thing where if I would highlight them in like the spreadsheet, like a certain color, we wouldn't get it. And I was like, what the fuck? So I would stop doing that too. So I'm out of that game.
So
I
join,
just stopped
join
telling
me.
people. But now, so I manifest. So I'm going to Italy next month. Super stoked
Nice.
for work. But I just decided. So once I found out about it, kind of kept it to myself. And if I did talk about it, I was like, it's a possibility. Like I didn't put it in there. But I didn't realize my manifestation powers years ago. But there was like one of my very first photo shoots was for Adidas, and I'm sure, they do rounds of auditions, but they had a trainer there to give us exercises, and I knew like my form was good. I felt good against the group I was in. And I remember I just wrote the next week that I was just off. Like I just blocked those days. I didn't even book it. I didn't even like think about it. And then I got the job.
Yeah.
And so what I did for this stuff too is for my last 2 shoots, I just wrote it in the calendar. Like it's in there.
And then it happened.
Yeah.
What's
So I'm
what's
going to
in
keep going with
What's
it.
in Italy?
So I'm a master trainer for Techno Gym, and
Okay.
I'm going to be shooting some
What's a
stuff for
techno
them.
gym?
That
Yeah.
stuff. No, Techno Gym is a wellness company, and they
Okay.
produce this high-end equipment,
Oh, cool.
crazy advanced stuff. It blows my mind, like thinking about a leg curl. But they have, something you can scan into with a QR code and capture your range of motion.
That's cool.
And if you don't hit it, it doesn't even count the rep. I was like, that's dope, because
Yeah,
some
that's
people
cool.
be thinking they're doing like all these reps and it's not correct. So yeah, working on some new stuff
That's cool.
with them.
We did. We
Super
were at
excited.
the UFC Performance Institute, and they have when you walk in, every athlete they have their names, their weights, their everything like that. You know, easy basic stuff. But then also, he didn't even have it set up for this, but she was doing just squat jumps. But it was measuring her vertical because it was catching the motion of her doing it.
Yeah.
That's so
It's got
sick.
cameras and sensors all
Yeah.
over, like the squat rack. And so we're just
It was really cool.
You could tell like the force and it's kind of
It's
cool.
insane to me how much is out there right now. Like you can
Yeah.
literally measure everything.
Oh, for sure.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those would be cool too, just to have for like accountability. Like, am I going 100% myself? Even if no one else is around, like you would be able to see it, like the science behind it. Like,
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool just
Yeah, I
solo
joke
dolo.
about that with my clients. I was like, you should get a heart rate monitor for safety. And then I'm like, now I can tell when you're lying. Like,
yeah.
your heart's fine. Get it together.
Right,
yeah.
Your heart's
Yeah,
fine.
those are those.
Yeah.
We've been to a bunch of gyms like that actually do it, and then you look at it and you're like, damn, I thought I was working harder than
Yeah.
I was.
I
Yeah,
was so disappointed. I'm like,
every time I've used one of those too, they're not accurate.
Either
Mine
It's-
shuts off. I'll be like 0, your heart's not beating. I'm like, well, I know my heart's
Yeah.
fucking beating. So.
like
Yeah.
but did I?
Yeah.
But did you die?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
I like them though.
Yeah.
What do you think's next for you? What's next steps, biz wise?
Business wise, it's really getting good at the online business. Like I really want to have a bigger impact and and not feel like I'm only stuck here, because when I was at my high point training in Long Beach, it's a burnout to train 10 people a day. And I feel bad if I can't give that energy. And, luckily I've been able to see that I've been able to produce results being online. So I want to do that. But the next thing as well is also, which I actually wrote out the 3 months of, is YouTube content.
Do it.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
going with that.
Do
There
it.
it is though.
Yeah.
That was just so, I
that was easy.
gotta go. So thank
Right?
you for having me here. And that's also being very specific to my type of clientele and the type of food I prep. And because it's kind of crazy to me that as I've been going through this online journey and building my following online and then meeting certain people, they were like, oh, you're cool. Like, cause online, I guess, I look like a pageant girl and I'm put together a certain way.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
no one's ever said I didn't look nice or anything, but they
Right.
just have this maybe perception that they might not be able to relate to me. But I think my energy is very different in person. So I want to get on YouTube, just be like, I'm a very nice, like encouraging
Sure. Yeah.
person. And I want you to feel welcome, and that, my training is serious to me. It's a certain way, but I do it in a way that I want you to enjoy it, or I want you to feel comfortable. I don't want you to feel like I'm there, like, give me 10 more push-ups.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm more like, well, if you're unable to do that, give me the best that you can. Let's work on modified and build on that. Like, it's a different type of coaching that I do. And
Yeah.
I just want people to be able to see more of who I am, to feel comfortable, because at the end of the day, they're investing in me and putting their hopes in me. So I want them to feel comfortable with me,
course.
that I'm not just selling something online, because
Yeah.
there's so many people doing that.
There's a gazillion,
Yeah.
especially out here.
So
There's-
saturated.
It is. It is. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, cool. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming our
having
way.
me. I'm gonna
It'll
go
be-
get Oreos now. See, it's in there.
Right?
Totally.
You said it out.
We look forward to seeing your YouTube content
Yes, I'm excited.
ASAP. Do it.
Whoa, don't rush me now.
Cool. Maricris, thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.